The crafting button shows you the time, the cost, and at the very bottom we wanted to have a queue so you could do multiple items at once. After we kicked it around a little bit and design looked it over, we realized that the item listing was just too detailed. I mean, sure, it had everything that you needed, but it was just too much. And because of that, you could only show 4 items at a time. And we really found out that through playtesting, people don't like scrolling and they don't like paging, if at all possible. So here, taking all the notes we had, we go back and take it for a second test. And this is the first one that made it into game for the team to test out. You can see we took off the requirements, the material requirements per item, so now we're able to get 10 items per page as opposed to 4. It's a good thing, less paging. The queue is still down at the bottom, and we thought it would be awesome to have this big tooltip in the middle that gave you all the information you wanted, and that's great and all. It does what we wanted, but from playtesting, it just came back, the feedback was it was just too cumbersome. As Jay Wilson would love to say, this interface looks like a systems developer came up with it. It's just too much information all at once. Also, the bottom ended up being confusing. Initially, we had wanted to have varied lengths of time for how long an item would take to be crafted. Sometimes, I think at one point we kicked around like days. And again, on paper, that sounds awesome. Wow, this item's so awesome, it takes forever to make. Not so much when you're playing the game. So we go back to our first goal. Got to make it simple. So what we did was, as much as we liked having the imagery per item, so you kind of knew what you were going to make, it caused too much space. So we simplified it into just a list of items. The queue is now just a progress bar behind that listing, and the bottom detail has all the requirements that you need. And any other information is on mouse over on the item listing so that it's also consistent with the way we convey information across the rest of the game. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Pete. So now that you know how to interact with them, you can see where you go to find them.
All right. So we knew early on we wanted to have a caravan that for the artisans to follow the player around through their quest. We knew we wanted them to be very different and have unique feels, unique shapes. So we came up with a caravan design theory for the visual design for the actual wagons themselves. We started with the blacksmith. We went with some blocky, aggressive shapes, thick woods, heavy metals to help accentuate the blacksmithery of the blacksmith. The mystic, we went with a lot of round organic shapes, some vibrant cloth, a lot of nature themes, so it felt completely different from the blacksmith. Then with the jeweler, some triangular shapes, some thin, warm woods to contrast with the blacksmith thick, beefy stuff, and some intricate, detailed bling. All right, so we knew we wanted to have these guys actually level up and progress, and we thought it would be way better to actually have their environment level up instead of just their wardrobe. So on the left side there, we have how you get the blacksmith. When you first get him in the game, he's very simple, low level, and as you level him up through the game, he gets better, and his cart obviously gets more exaggerated, more over the top. The themes get more and more prominent. The metals get stronger, the woods get thicker, and he gets more and more epic gear. So here is the Mystic, same thing. On the left side, this is a low level. We had a little bit of a tough time designing her early on because we knew we wanted her themes to be nature themes and vibrant cloths and round wood. But early on, her stuff looked very similar to the blacksmith because we wanted the wagon to feel really simple and really low level to begin with. So we decided to actually make the layout round, and I think that helped a lot to diversify them. And then here's the jeweler. The jeweler had a completely different problem. because when you're thinking about a low level versus a high level, with the blacksmith, you can have very simple rusty daggers and tiny little buckler shields, and later levels you can just get crazy with giant flaming two-handed maces and just really epic stuff. It's very clear to see. And the same with the mystic, huge wands and stabs and lots of great big magic stuff. But the jeweler has these little tiny itty-bitty jewels and trinkets and all that stuff. And we can't make them too big, even in the late levels. So we actually ended up making the wagon itself much more opulent. And as it levels up, it gets a lot of like gold plating and a lot of just intricate details all over the actual wagon itself. Ready for the last, Jay?
Yep. Yeah, I'm ready. All right, everyone gets to level up in Diablo, even the vendors. So we posted this on the web a little while ago, but we like it so much we're to show it again.
Boom.
All right. So later, we've only got a little bit of time for questions, but at 3 o'clock today on the main stage, we'll be doing a full hour of Q&A. So if you don't hear the question that you're hoping for, if you don't get to ask the one you want to, definitely come to that Q&A and we'll get it answered for you.
How do you know time?
I can't feel my fingers.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
Last Blizzcon, I asked you about gem wards by putting gems into armor with multiple sockets and getting a new effect, like moon wards in 10.0. And just wondering, at Gamescom you said you liked the idea and you'd write it down. I was just wondering, how is that progressing? Like, did you like that idea when you talked about it with your team?
Yeah, we've talked about it a little bit. But no, we haven't really progressed that much with it because right now we're focused pretty much on finishing out the artisans as they are. But it's still, it's still one of those things that we, whenever we hear a good idea we like, we have this big list of good ideas and we kind of stick them in there. So it's still there, but no, we haven't been able to spend much time on it yet.
Thank you.
Hey guys, my name's Jeff from Montreal. So I'm a big World of Warcraft player. I love the customizability of the UI. I was wondering how much of the UI is customizable within Diablo 3.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, sir. There will be no customizing of the UI in Diablo 3.
There's a very good reason for that, though. Jay, you want to handle that?
I'm sorry?
There's a very good reason for that.
Yeah, I mean, UI and customization mods in general are awesome. Like, we love it, but the problem that World of Warcraft had was their game got shifted by the whole mod community. And really for them, that was fine. That was their expectation.